Usually, I'm speaking to exclusive live selling talent, which, full disclosure for anyone watching, Margot Grant Witz is. But you are also the VP of Elizabeth Grant International, which is a globally recognized skincare brand who, incidentally, Margot, were among the very first in TV home shopping. And then we'll talk live stream after that.
Yeah, it's something we've been doing for 26 years this July. And it's something that is such an exciting opportunity and such a different dynamic, and something that I don't believe my grandmother or mother ever expected to go into. It was just when my mom wanted to relaunch Elizabeth Grant, because we launched in 1948 in London, England, with my grandmother Elizabeth. My grandmother retired when she came to Canada, and my mom, who's my grandmother's daughter-in-law, didn't really think the company was ready to retire. And my grandmother said, well, I'm not willing to knock on doors anymore. And all of a sudden, we became sort of, I don't want to say obsessed, but we became so interested in the world of shopping channels because it wasn't something that we had in South Africa. So we thought the whole nuances behind it was the most interesting concept. And so the day that it went from still pictures to live people, my mom and my grandmother were both on the phone with each other saying, this is it. This is how we relaunch.
So now let's progress from pioneer in TV home shopping to pioneer in live stream shopping.
This is where we shop. This is where we get our information. So if knowing that that's the platform that is always dynamic, that is in someone's hands, how do you connect to it? So we were always doing Facebook Lives and things like that because I love engaging with our community. I think our community is the best in the world. It's why I think we are who we are and we get to do what we do. And so it was really interesting when my darling Kimberly Wells brought to the attention at the time the Be Live platform, because it was the greatest way to engage between the community and what we do and be able to stream it on different social networks. So you could have done it on Facebook, you could have done it you could have done it on YouTube, you could have done it on any sort of platform and integrated it in a live opportunity. So you were able to engage with new consumers, current consumers, and reignite the conversation versus it just being a tough sales pitch, if that makes sense.
So there's Facebook Live where you're not going to have regular graphics. Then you integrate something like Be Live, and there may be other platforms that do that where you don't have the access of the software to buy in show, meaning a buy now button, but you get the opportunity to integrate graphics and make it kind of look a bit more like a broadcast that you might see on any kind of TV station like news or TV home shopping. So that would be a little bit of a less investment. I'm going to just say financially, commitment wise,
Yeah.
because you're not dealing with that expensive software. I mean, they still charge with Be Live, and then progression further to essentially a live stream shopping platform. So when you first started, and I'm going to just go into more of the live stream shopping platforms. So whether
Yeah.
you're using, Stage 10 or Live Scale or any of the others that are out there, Vimy, perhaps, maybe you're working with Spree. There are many from around the world. Bamboozler is another great one if anyone's looking at that as well. But I'm curious, what were some of the biggest surprises that you had? And I want to focus on the positive, and then don't worry, everybody, this isn't an ad for everybody. I want to just make sure because there are some learnings that you would have had. So let's talk about maybe some of the biggest positive surprises that you've had with working with some of these platforms and in that medium.
I think the opportunity to be able to have multi streams at the same time on different platforms, that was something that was so incredible for us to be able to have embedded videos, being able to stream on different social platforms without having to do all sorts of different treatments and different this and different that. Every single platform was able to have slightly different evolutions and tweak from each other. And so that was a very interesting thing to watch. And in a way, you wish that so many of them would perfectly come together and be able to do it. But there's always one piece that was missing. I haven't found my unicorn just yet. But as you say, every day there's a new opportunity, a new app, a new platform. And I think what's so exciting is we're open to trying it and just giving it a whirl.
Well, and that doesn't surprise me, Margot, when we think of your, your grandmother, Elizabeth Grant, when we think of your mom, as well, Marion, and of course for you as well, you've been innovators right from the start since 1948. This company has been an innovator, so it's not surprising to me that you're willing to go on that journey of excitement, of innovation, and of learnings as well. I do think there will at some point be sort of that super shopping platform that
The
will
perfect
probably be,
one.
well, and it will probably be partnerships of existings that, and end up, you know, combining forces. I think what will happen, because ultimately the customer and the business needs what they needs and wants what they wants if they want to stay competitive, just like TV home shopping has
Yeah.
had to remain competitive by also embracing these technologies that in their wildest dreams could not imagine them farming out. A TV station now working with another station essentially to broadcast with other mediums. Talk about the conversion opportunities, Margot.
Yeah.
Are you seeing time after time, from when you first started, a progression with consistency of hosting your live streams in the customer conversion and sales rates?
Yes, but I think what the missing piece is there is it's almost like a hybrid between paid and organic advertisements. And by that, by doing it consistently, by consistently showing up, by having a destination for someone to come to, you get to engage a new audience. So I think when you're able to see new names, new numbers, new opportunities, new chances, new sales, if every week, just on the bare end, let's just pretend, if week one you start with one, week two you get three, week 10 you're at 120, whatever the numbers are, it's a great opportunity to see that momentum. And what's also interesting is from that flip side of it, we're personally seeing the conversion, we're personally seeing the growth, we're personally seeing the momentum. But we've been in learning opportunities where on the other side, these platforms, I love all of them, but they're all sales platforms. So they're also selling their kit and their function and their caboodle. So it's really important as a consumer, as a partner, as a vendor from that other side of the platform to be able to say, I'm not happy with this, or when are you going to do this, or how do we grow, or I'm not seeing the conversion. What opportunities are you giving me? Because the landscape is there. And I think so many people get nervous about understanding who they can be and really understanding the idiosyncrasies behind all of these platforms, that even though it's technology, it's still business, and they all have metrics, and they all have different ways, and they all have pipelines, and they all have budgets, and they all have their own targets. So it's important to know where you want to be and where you want to go, and how do we get there, and what tools do you have for us to achieve that?
Well, you have to decide what your KPIs are. What
Yeah.
are your key performance indicators? And so, without again going into numbers, and I know all the numbers of what you used to and still do pull in at TV home shopping networks, and particularly in Canada, because I've worked with you in that space, it would be ridiculous to think that you're going to hit those numbers right out of the gate in live stream shopping. So, you have to have other metrics. You have to be thinking, okay, what was our reach?
Yeah.
Did we end up seeing more people, more traffic on our
Yeah.
site? Did people buy other items? Have we acquired new customers that we never had access to before? Are we seeing the demographic change? And yes, obviously, you want to have the sales, but that again is a cumulative benefit that frankly, you guys know all about. 1948 is when this company started. And so you understand the building, you understand the journey. Now, when we talked a little bit about the platforms and the fact that they're businesses and that they're software and that they're technology, what I've found, and I don't know what your experience is and what you've maybe heard in this space, Margot, but the reality is what they don't kind of quite have yet is that talent roster, that
Yeah.
base, the strategy from an on-air standpoint.
They have no control about who's going to be on the other side of the screen, both as the talent and as the viewer. And if you're a talent and you're sitting there just saying, well, I'm here, why aren't you showing up? You're kind of insulting the person who is the consumer, your community, the opportunity to have a conversation with someone, because that is what this is. Regardless of the platform, regardless of which camera's in front of you, it's a conversation. And it's something that you have to sit there and really embrace and sort of chuck your ego to the door, because there is a saying in TV shopping, you're only as good as your last show. Not the years, not the talent, not the sales. What was your last show? So if you're not willing to invest in making it entertaining, making it thought-provoking, making it something different, it's kind of insulting to the other person of sort of not giving them a reason to invest the time, because that's what it is. Whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, even an hour, whatever that length of the performance is, that is what we are doing. We are performing, we are engaging, we are growing, we are conversing, and along the way, we're selling. But if you're just going to stand on the corner having a one-sided conversation, no one's going to be wanting to listen.
So I talked about this. I was working with one of the broadcast schools. I was a facilitator, a guest facilitator for freelance producers and social media. And we were talking about currency. And so this is so relevant when we talk about what is currency? Well, currency, yes, is cash. So we know that,
Yeah,
but currency is also time.
sure
And
is.
this was something I learned very early on when I worked in television, because you were catching people at the busiest time of their day. To get anyone to dedicate time away from the other things that are going on in life. So if you can get people watching your stream, if you can get people watching your television program or your news program or whatever it is, it better be worth it,
Yeah.
because they will move on. And so this is where, when I talk about my HSH method of live selling, which, obviously you can learn more about at livesellingschool.com and the other free programs and other things that I have, it really does help people understand, Margot, the importance of engaging and being relatable and authenticity and providing their why you're going
Yeah.
to tune in. And then ultimately, because we are shopping on live stream shopping platforms, or Facebook Live or Instagram, even if it's just promoting and having a conversation and showcasing, even without the little buy now button, that's live shopping. Okay. It might not get the same conversion, but it's got to be something that maybe is educational, entertaining. It's an opportunity for people to connect in a world that, knock, 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 knock. I can't see the whites of your eyes the same as I can in person. I can't read your same body language. I can't get that same vibe. But Margot, we need to be able to do that through the screen. And that's something that you can learn some of the skills, but it's something you also have to really build within you as well, to amplify that authenticity and all of those other soft skills that a lot of people this day and age don't know how to do, because they can't talk to people in person.
I think it's one of those things. It's really, as silly as it sounds, it's weirdly easier than people give themselves credit for. It's relationship building and being able to have, if you think a camera in front of you is a safety net, I don't. I think cameras today, they show everything. And if you're looking over there, if you're not paying attention, it gets picked up. So if you were sitting on the other side of a brunch table, for example, with your girlfriend, and all you were saying was, I, they're not going to be interested in having brunch with you again. So we know the dynamic of building relationships. I think we're nervous about that vulnerability. And that goes across every aspect of life, whether it's live streaming or whether it's relationship building, whether it's in front of a camera or off camera. It's having that vulnerability to connect. It is such an interesting landscape, because we have the opportunity right now with all of the platforms, because you can even see a wonderful social media network of TikTok converting into those live sales immediately in that platform. But live streaming is weirdly new in North America, that hasn't clicked in, and I don't understand why it hasn't, because it's $1 billion plus industry in Asia. It is something that works because you don't have to pay the brick and mortar pricing. You don't have to pay for the advertisements. You just have to bring something of interest. And that is human nature. Building relationships is connecting with somebody of common interests.
Well, in my opinion, I'm trying to have people understand and businesses understand, in particular small business. Okay. And I'm going to say that only because a lot of times small business doesn't have the budget for PR or
Yeah.
a sales and marketing team or all the other things.
Or don't believe in PR.
Or don't quite understand the value in it,
Yeah.
right? And so when I look at, so let's talk return on investment.
Yeah.
Even let's play, even if you didn't get a ton of sales in a live stream event, what is happening over time? Exposure, brand awareness, brand loyalty, community building. It's advertising. And so
Yeah.
I think if you can dedicate a bit of your budget, your sales and marketing budget, or incorporate one little element within your sales and marketing team as a brand, big brand, or I'm going to say smaller brand, though, because the bigger brands have a lot more access to other stuff. And so, of course, Walmart's doing live stream shopping. Of course, Target is doing live stream. Of course, a lot of those other bigger brands are, but the smaller brands, if you can get that groove going, right? If you can build that community to get people excited that once a month or every few weeks, you're going to do even a product launch, you have built in so many other areas and pillars that you can check the box off and fill up with just doing live stream on the regular at
Yeah.
overall, without all the technology, can start with almost no cost.
Almost no cost. There is always a cost when it comes to the platform. You're looking for a conversion. There is a platform for a reason. They've done all the work in the back end. That's why the cost is there. They've tried to simplify and streamline the headache so you don't have to. Because when you're trying to do the a la carte menu for yourself, unless you're like an app developer or a coder or anything, give the headache to someone else and just do what you do best. Why not? Why not give it a chance? Why not try something that might be different? If you're not evolving in today's opportunities and today's exposure and today's technology, you can't be frustrated that you're watching other people be successful at it. Now, whatever's stopping you, that's something you have to check with yourself. Budget, we can work around it because there's always something that's going to fit your budget. Time, that is something that I always have said, as much as everyone says I have no time, if you schedule something, you have time. Think about what we're doing today. We scheduled the time to have a chat together. You make the time to commit to do something. If you have an idea, polish it, figure it out. If you have the opportunity, try it. But the reality is, if it's not you, someone else is doing it. And the reason why there's so many platforms and so many opportunities and so many reasons why the big companies, and I always go big companies like this, do it is because they see the value and the opportunity. We can all figure out ways why it won't work for us, but it usually comes down to, I don't know if I'm going to be good at it. I don't know if I'm comfortable at it. And frankly, I think we're all uncomfortable with doing everything that we do in life, no matter what it is. We always get those butterflies between something or another. And two, you don't know if you're not good at it unless A, you try, and B, you learn because you keep getting better every single opportunity in every single show.
Limiting beliefs about what you as a company can accomplish, embracing new technologies and new paths forward, especially as time goes on, when we talk about Gen Alpha, who is born into the digital age.
Yeah.
Yes, there will all, e-com, lots of people are just comfortable going to the .com and don't feel they need that advocacy, and that's fine. But overall, people trust people, people buy from people. And if you are looking to reach someone that has that barrier of, oh, I don't know, is it going to fit like I think it is? Is it really that soft? I need to see before and afters. I need to see Margot's skin right up close. I need to see that. I need to see how I use it. I can read it, but I don't want to read it. Maybe you
Yeah.
can't read it. For all the reasons. We have to reach people in a 360-degree way. We don't just eat with our taste buds and our mouth. We eat with our eyes. You know, it's all of that whole thing. And so the same thing applies. So as we kind of wrap this up, I mean, here are the takeaways I hear from you. You're in it for the long game. You have always, and by you, I mean you as a company, but you also personally, you understand that good things come to those who invest and wait. And whatever level of investment you have, as Margot said, there is an opportunity for you. And if today you're just starting with a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live, and you just want to show something beyond typical influencer, like, hey, I love this pen. And maybe
Yeah.
instead of going, I love this pen, you're going to show the details. You're going to show how smoothly it writes. You're going to show that it's got extra little, by the way, this is a live selling school pen, that it's got the little, you know, the little nubby thing for your technology. That's going to be the difference between traditional influencing and actually creating an opportunity to, you know, build a customer base and to build relationships in a new way.
I think ultimately there's a ton of platforms. Look at all of them, research all of them, try them on as if you were going to go try on a different dress or a different pair of jeans in a store, because it's not one size that fits all for you. If you're going to try to do something and you're uncomfortable, get as comfortable as you can before you go live, whether it's FaceTiming with your friends, whether it's Skyping, whether it's notes somewhere, have your little X of where you're meant to look, get comfortable with it. Know that you're not going to be perfect your first round. You're going to evolve. And I want you to know, not always the big companies as the vendor side, as the performance side, get it, because there's the level of being authentic that is the most interesting to connect to. But the only person that's stopping anything from happening is yourself. And if your budget is really big or really small, work within it, give yourself a timeline, give yourself checkpoints, and don't be egotistical enough to say, well, I tried it, I need it to work, without being able to examine if it's not working, and adapt and understand the tech field is constantly evolving. It's constantly changing. You don't have to do it, but it's going to be there with or without you. So you might as well, if you want to, try it and have fun with it.
And they called live stream shopping the future of retail. We're in the future right now.
Yeah.
And one last thought on what you were saying too, don't sell yourself short. You don't always have to hire another spokesperson. I mean, I'm in the business of being a spokesperson, but what I've done is I've created a program and one-on-one trainings and workshops
Yeah.
to help anyone watching that wants to do it themselves, right? That's the goal here.
I say it this way, make no mistake, we're in 10 different countries around the world. I have different people in different locations because someone is German and they're in our German audience and they speak German. We have someone in Italy for our Italian audience. There is value in getting people to build your team. All I'm saying is ensure that you're on the same scale so you get to learn as well, grow, and do the opportunity. Because if you know what's going on, you're never going to lose.
And that's the key to a successful business, a business that is almost 80 years old. So absolutely amazing. Margot, for anyone that wants to learn more about this incredible, innovative global sensation that is Elizabeth Grant International, what's the best way?
So you can always see us at our website, elizabethgrant.com. And frankly, we're on every single social media platform to do any form of lives at EG Skincare, and it's on all of them. So just drop us a note, find us a follow, come give us a visit. And it's always one of us on the other side of I always say the screen, because we are a small team. So it's really us talking to you and really wanting you to get into your skin and just love what you see.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.